Lyra's iridescent eyes widened with wonder as she wandered through the bustling marketplace on Earth. The air buzzed with the mingling scents of exotic spices, fresh produce, and baked goods, creating a symphony of aromas unfamiliar to her. Her shimmering blue skin glowed softly in the sunlight, a subtle reminder of her alien origin. As part of the exchange program between Zalara and Earth, she was here to learn about human culture and cuisine. Today, she felt particularly adventurous. "Try this! It's a cookie, a favorite snack around here," a voice called out. Lyra turned to see a young man with a warm smile holding out a small, round treat. His sandy hair and bright, curious eyes marked him as friendly and approachable. She had seen him before, Jake, the Australian cultural ambassador assigned to guide her. She accepted the cookie, her slender fingers brushing against his. "Thank you, Jake. It looks intriguing." Jake watched with a mixture of amusement and curiosity as Lyra took a cautious bite. The cookie's sweetness exploded in her mouth, sending an unexpected warmth through her body. She gasped, dropping the half-eaten treat as her skin shimmered with a rainbow of colors. Her heart raced, and a strange sensation surged through her veins, something she had never experienced on Zalara. "Are you okay?" Jake's voice was laced with concern as he stepped closer, ready to catch her if she fell. Lyra's eyes fluttered shut for a moment before she managed to steady herself. I don't know. This cookie, it has a peculiar effect on me." Curiosity morphed into worry on Jake's face. "Let's get you somewhere quiet. We need to figure out what's happening." He gently guided her through the crowded marketplace, his arm around her shoulders for support. They found a secluded bench in a nearby park, away from the prying eyes and bustling noise. Lyra's skin slowly returned to its usual blue hue, but the strange sensation lingered, an undercurrent of arousal she struggled to understand. "Human food must interact differently with my physiology," she speculated, her voice tinged with both wonder and fear. "I've never felt anything like this before." Jake nodded, his expression thoughtful. "We knew there might be unexpected reactions, but this is beyond what we anticipated. We'll figure it out, Lyra. You're not alone in this." His words provided a small comfort, but Lyra couldn't shake the feeling of vulnerability. As an ambassador, she was supposed to be strong and composed, yet here she was, undone by a simple cookie. She looked at Jake, grateful for his steady presence. "Thank you for helping me. I don't know what I would do without you." Jake smiled, a reassuring warmth in his eyes. "You're not just a part of the program, Lyra. You're my friend. We'll get through this together." As they sat in the tranquil park, the sounds of the marketplace faded into the background. Lyra's mind raced, grappling with the implications of her reaction to the cookie. What other human foods could have similar effects? How would she navigate these uncharted waters? Her thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of a stern-looking man with sharp features and a lab coat flapping in the breeze. Dr. Thorne, a prominent scientist skeptical of the exchange program, had evidently been watching from a distance. His disapproving gaze settled on Lyra, then shifted to Jake. "Mr. Clark, Miss Lyra." Dr. Thorne greeted them with a curt nod. "I see you're experiencing some complications." Jake stood, shielding Lyra with his body. "Dr. Thorne, we weren't expecting such a strong reaction to a simple cookie. We need to understand this better." Dr. Thorne's lips thinned into a tight line. "This is precisely why I have reservations about this exchange program. We cannot predict all the variables. Miss Lyra, it would be wise to reconsider your participation." Lyra's heart sank at his words, but she squared her shoulders, determination shining in her eyes. "I will not abandon this mission, Dr. Thorne. This is a learning experience for both our species." Jake nodded in agreement. "We'll find a way to manage this. Lyra has a right to be here, just like anyone else." Dr. Thorne sighed, shaking his head. "Very well. But proceed with caution. We cannot afford any more surprises." As he walked away, Lyra felt a renewed sense of resolve. She would not let one unexpected reaction deter her from her mission. With Jake by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, determined to bridge the gap between their worlds. Lyra clutched her chest, her skin shimmering with iridescent colors as the unfamiliar sensation surged through her. She struggled to steady her breathing, her eyes flickering open to meet Jake's concerned gaze. They sat on a bench in a secluded corner of the park, away from the bustling marketplace where the incident had occurred. "Are you feeling any better?" Jake asked gently, his voice a soothing balm to her frayed nerves. Lyra nodded, though her pulse still raced. "Yes, the intensity has lessened, but the sensation lingers. I need to understand what caused this." Jake's brow furrowed. "We'll figure it out. Let's start by analyzing what you ate. The cookie must have contained something that interacted with your physiology in a way we didn't anticipate." Lyra took a deep breath, her curiosity piqued despite her discomfort. "On Zalara, our food is vastly different. Perhaps there is an ingredient in human cuisine that affects my system uniquely." Jake's expression brightened with an idea. "I have a friend who might help us. Dr. Ames is a xenobiologist with experience in cross-species nutrition. She might have some answers." He helped Lyra to her feet, guiding her through the park's winding paths until they reached a small, unassuming laboratory nestled among the trees. Dr. Ames, a petite woman with keen eyes and a welcoming smile, greeted them at the door. "Jake, what brings you here?" she asked, glancing curiously at Lyra. "We need your expertise, Dr. Ames," Jake explained. "Lyra had a severe reaction to a human cookie. Can you help us understand why?" Dr. Ames ushered them inside, her laboratory filled with strange specimens and advanced equipment. "Of course, let's take a look." As Lyra described her symptoms, Dr. Ames conducted a series of tests, taking samples and running them through her machines. The room buzzed with the hum of technology, creating an atmosphere of anticipation. After what felt like an eternity, Dr. Ames turned to them with a thoughtful expression. "It seems the cookie contained a compound that, while harmless to humans, acts as a potent stimulant for Xylarians. Your body reacted by amplifying sensory and emotional responses." Lyra's eyes widened. "So, this reaction is a result of my alien physiology being exposed to a human stimulant?" Dr. Ames nodded. "Precisely. We'll need to monitor your diet more closely and avoid foods with similar compounds. This incident has highlighted an important aspect of our interplanetary exchange, the need for better understanding of cross-species nutrition." Jake placed a reassuring hand on Lyra's shoulder. "We'll be more careful from now on." "Thank you, Dr. Ames." As they left the laboratory, Lyra felt a mixture of relief and trepidation. She was grateful for the explanation, but the experience had shaken her confidence. The world around her seemed suddenly more unpredictable, fraught with unseen dangers. "Thank you, Jake. I don't know what I would do without your help," Lyra said, her voice soft with gratitude. Jake smiled warmly. "You're not alone in this, Lyra. We're in it together. Besides, I promise to help you navigate Earth, and that includes avoiding dangerous cookies." They both laughed, the tension easing slightly. Yet, as they walked back through the park, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that their challenges were only beginning. The incident had exposed vulnerabilities she hadn't considered, and she wondered what other surprises Earth held in store for her. Back at the marketplace, the mood had shifted. Dr. Thorne's disapproving presence loomed large, his skepticism a constant reminder of the program's fragile nature. He approached them, his gaze cold and calculating. "Miss Lyra, it seems your presence here is causing more issues than anticipated," Dr. Thorne said, his tone laced with disapproval. "We need to reconsider the viability of this exchange." Lyra straightened, determination hardening her resolve. "Dr. Thorne, this incident was unexpected, but it is not a reason to abandon our mission. We are here to learn and adapt. With proper precautions, we can continue safely." Jake stepped forward, his voice firm. "Lyra is right. This program is about understanding and cooperation. We've learned from this experience, and will take the necessary steps to prevent future issues." Dr. Thorne's expression remained stern, but he nodded reluctantly. "Very well. But proceed with caution. We cannot afford more surprises." As he walked away, Lyra felt a renewed sense of resolve. The path ahead was uncertain, but with Jake's support and her own determination, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would bridge the gap between their worlds, one step at a time. Jake's heart pounded as he watched Lyra's skin pulse with light, a visible sign of her inner turmoil. The laboratory's stark fluorescent lights cast a harsh glow on her shimmering form. Dr. Ames had done her best to reassure them, but the revelation about the stimulant in the cookie had only heightened the tension. "We need to be more careful," Jake muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Lyra, seated beside him, nodded, her usual curiosity overshadowed by apprehension. Dr. Ames handed Lyra a nutrient drink designed to counteract the stimulant's effects. "This should help stabilize your system. It's formulated to be neutral for both humans and Xylarians." Lyra sipped the drink, the cool liquid soothing her frayed nerves. "Thank you, Dr. Ames. I feel better already." "Good," the doctor replied. "But remember, your body is still adjusting to Earth's environment. We must proceed with caution." Jake took Lyra's hand, his touch grounding her. "Let's take a walk. Some fresh air might do us both good." They left the lab, stepping into the crisp afternoon. The park was serene, the trees swaying gently in the breeze. As they walked, the tension between them began to ease, replaced by a sense of mutual understanding and companionship. "I never imagined Earth would be so challenging," Lyra admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake smiled, squeezing her hand reassuringly. "It's a learning curve for both of us. But you're handling it with grace. I'm proud of you." They strolled in comfortable silence, the world around them vibrant and alive. Birds chirped merrily, and the scent of blooming flowers filled the air. Lyra's eyes sparkled with wonder as she took in the sights and sounds, her earlier fears melting away. Their peaceful moment was interrupted by the sudden arrival of Dr. Thorne, his face etched with disapproval. "Mr. Clark, Miss Lyra, I need a word." Jake's grip tightened protectively around Lyra's hand. "What is it, Dr. Thorne?" The scientist's gaze was cold. "There's been another incident involving an alien participant. This program is becoming increasingly untenable." Lyra's heart sank. "What happened?" "A Xylari accidentally ingested a human beverage with similar compounds to the cookie, resulting in a severe allergic reaction. They're in the infirmary now," Dr. Thorne explained, his tone accusatory. Jake felt a surge of anger. "This program is about learning and adapting. Incidents like these are unfortunate but expected. We mustn't give up." Dr. Thorne crossed his arms, unmoved. "It's reckless to continue without stricter controls. I'm recommending a temporary suspension of the exchange." Lyra's eyes widened in alarm. "You can't. This program is crucial for understanding between our species." Jake stepped forward, his voice firm. "Dr. Thorne, these setbacks are part of the process. We need to find solutions, not retreat at the first sign of trouble." Dr. Thorne's expression softened slightly, though his stance remained rigid. "I admire your optimism, but we must prioritize safety. I'll take this matter to the council." As he walked away, Jake and Lyra exchanged a worried glance. The fate of the exchange program hung in the balance, and they needed a plan to convince the council of its importance. "We can't let this happen," Lyra said, determination lighting her eyes. "We have to show them the benefits outweigh the risks." Jake nodded. "Agreed. We need testimonies from both humans and Xylarians who have benefited from the program. Personal stories might sway the council." They spent the next few days gathering testimonials, meeting with participants who shared their positive experiences. Each story added weight to their argument, painting a picture of mutual growth and understanding. On the day of the council meeting, the tension was palpable. The chamber was filled with representatives from both worlds, their expressions a mix of curiosity and concern. Dr. Thorne presented his case, emphasizing the recent incidents and advocating for suspension. When it was Jake and Lyra's turn, they stood side by side, presenting their compiled testimonies. Lyra spoke passionately about the importance of the exchange, her words resonating with the council members. "This program is more than just an experiment," Lyra concluded. "It's a bridge between our worlds, fostering understanding and cooperation. We cannot let fear dictate our actions, Jake added. We've learned so much already, and we're prepared to implement stricter safety measures. But we must continue. The potential for mutual growth is too great to ignore. The council deliberated, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Finally, the head of the council, an elderly Xylari with wise, piercing eyes, spoke. While the concerns are valid, the benefits cannot be overlooked. We will continue the exchange program with enhanced safety protocols. Let this be a testament to our commitment to unity. Relief washed over Jake and Lyra as the council's decision was announced. They had succeeded, not just in saving the program but in reaffirming their dedication to bridging the gap between their worlds. As they left the chamber, Jake turned to Lyra, a smile spreading across his face. We did it, Lyra. Together. Lyra's eyes glowed with gratitude and affection. Yes, together. And this is just the beginning. The council chamber buzzed with anticipation, the air thick with tension. Representatives from Earth and Zilara filled the room, their faces a mix of curiosity and concern. Jake and Lyra stood side by side, their resolve strengthened by the testimonies they had gathered. The head of the council, an elderly Xylari named Aaron with piercing, wise eyes, called the session to order. We are here to determine the future of the interplanetary exchange program. Recent incidents have raised valid concerns, but we must weigh them against the program's potential benefits. Jake felt Lyra's hand tighten around his, a silent gesture of support. He took a deep breath and began. Distinguished members of the council, we acknowledge the challenges we've faced. However, these challenges have taught us invaluable lessons. We are prepared to implement stricter safety protocols to ensure the well-being of all participants. Lyra stepped forward, her voice steady and clear. This program represents more than just an experiment. It's a bridge between our worlds, fostering understanding and cooperation. The testimonies we've gathered highlight the positive impact on both humans and Xylarians. The council members listened intently as Jake and Lyra shared stories of mutual growth and learning. The room fell silent as the last testimony concluded, leaving an atmosphere heavy with contemplation. Dr. Thorne, who had been advocating for the program's suspension, stood to present his case. While I appreciate the sentiments expressed, the safety risks are significant. We must prioritize the welfare of all involved. A temporary suspension would allow us to address these issues comprehensively. The tension in the room heightened as the council deliberated. Jake and Lyra exchanged worried glances, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. Finally, Aaron rose to speak. After careful consideration, we have reached a decision. While the concerns are valid, the benefits of the exchange program cannot be overlooked. We will continue with enhanced safety measures. Let this decision reflect our commitment to unity and mutual understanding. Relief washed over Jake and Lyra. They had succeeded in preserving the program, reaffirming their dedication to bridging the gap between their worlds. As the council members dispersed, Jake turned to Lyra, a smile spreading across his face. We did it, Lyra. Together. Lyra's eyes glowed with gratitude and affection. Yes, together. And this is just the beginning. As they exited the chamber, the sunlight bathed them in warmth, a stark contrast to the tension they had just left behind. They walked through the bustling streets, the energy of the city revitalizing them. We need to celebrate, Jake declared, his enthusiasm contagious. Lyra laughed, the sound light and musical. What do humans do to celebrate victories? How about a meal at my favorite restaurant? This time, we'll make sure there's nothing that could cause unexpected reactions. They headed to a cozy restaurant with a charming outdoor patio. The aroma of various dishes wafted through the air, tantalizing their senses. They chose a table under a blooming tree, the soft rustle of leaves adding to the ambience. As they perused the menu, Jake noticed Lyra's eyes darting over the unfamiliar items. Anything catch your eye? Lyra smiled, her curiosity piqued. I'm interested in trying something new, but perhaps you should choose for me. Jake ordered a selection of dishes, ensuring they were safe for Lyra. As they waited, they talked about their plans for the future of the exchange program. The conversation flowed easily, their bond growing stronger with each shared moment. The food arrived, a colorful array of flavors and textures. Lyra's eyes widened in delight as she tasted each dish, her reactions ranging from thoughtful to ecstatic. "This is wonderful, Jake. Every bite is a new adventure." Jake watched her with a mixture of amusement and affection. "I'm glad you're enjoying it. There's so much more for you to experience here." As they savored their meal, a group of humans and Xylarians entered the restaurant, laughing and talking animatedly. The sight filled Jake with hope. This was what the program was all about, creating a world where different species could coexist, learn from each other, and build lasting friendships. After their meal, they strolled through the city, the streets alive with activity. Jake marveled at how seamlessly Lyra blended into this world, her presence a testament to the potential for harmony between their species. They paused at a scenic overlook, the cityscape glittering below them. Lyra turned to Jake, her eyes reflecting the lights of the city. "Thank you, Jake. For everything." Jake took her hand, the connection between them palpable. "Thank you, Lyra. For showing me what's possible when we open our hearts and minds." As they stood together, gazing out at the world they were helping to shape, a sense of fulfillment and purpose enveloped them. They had faced challenges, but their shared journey had only strengthened their resolve. This was just the beginning of a new chapter in human and Xylari history, one filled with promise, understanding, and the unbreakable bond between two worlds united by their differences.